Hi everyone, my name is Elise and today I want to talk about how we can leverage the cultural and linguistic assets of English learners and build a strong home-to-school connection. My perspective is rooted in culturally responsive teaching, asset-based practices, and the belief that every student brings valuable knowledge, experiences, and strengths into the classroom. Students communicate, interact, and learn and interpret the world based upon their culture. As educators, it's important that we take into consideration the way a student's culture influences their classroom behavior, participation styles, and how students respond to authority. The term for this is cultural competence. This perspective reminds teachers to understand, respect, and integrate students' cultural backgrounds into their instruction. It also means that we teach English learners to take pride in expressing their home language and culture norms rather than trying to fit in with the norm. It's also our job as teachers to allow students opportunities to integrate their cultural values in the classroom. We can do this by inviting students to share their unique cultural traditions with their peers. Providing an inclusive classroom for students also looks like incorporating materials that include multiple cultural perspectives. This can include items like reading materials and assignments that allow students to connect with their cultural identities. We can offer students predictable routines and labels that will ease their integration into the classroom so that they can feel safe, valued, and understood. In doing so, we communicate to our students that their backgrounds are not seen as obstacles, but rather as an asset and something they can bring to the classroom. There are a few strategies that we can use to celebrate diversity and leverage home language. One of those, and probably the most important thing teachers can do, is to get to know the students and their families. And this gives teachers a more accurate perspective of what their students' needs are based on their cultural background. One effective way for ELs to learn without being overwhelmed by a language barrier is to use translanguaging practices, which allows students to use their home languages as a tool. Using multilingual labels and greetings during morning meetings can make students feel more seen, more safe in the classroom. As mentioned before, student-led cultural sharing opportunities can be a great way to integrate a student into the classroom and help other students learn to be more accepting. For many ELs, entering an English-speaking classroom can be stressful. The inherent language barrier, coupled with the struggles of acculturation and trauma, can compound learning difficulties. As teachers, we can support them by building trusting, authentic relationships, as well as modeling emotional vocabulary so they can learn to express themselves. Using predictable routines that students can rely on also relieves the pressure of a new classroom. Integrating peer-supported structures, such as a buddy system, can alleviate the social pressures and fear of isolation that a lot of students experience. Other strategies teachers can use are differentiated scaffolds, visuals, sentence frames, small group instruction, and opportunities for oral rehearsal. For students to feel truly comfortable and supported in class, teachers need to be knowledgeable of their students' backgrounds, how they manifest in class. For example, some students may not be comfortable sharing publicly or making eye contact. Rather than expecting every student to participate in the same way, teachers need to adjust routines and procedures based on their own students' needs. When we as teachers take the time to build genuine connections with the parents of ELs, they can begin to understand the cultural, linguistic, and experiential nuances that their students bring to the classroom. And by doing so, we can design instructions that connect to what the student already knows, which strengthens their motivation and comprehension. Specifically, when we as teachers can use translation tools to ease the strain of communication we offer bilingual materials to students that will show that we have a genuine interest in ensuring each student thrives in school. So, in summary, there are a lot of things that we as teachers can do to help our English learners succeed in school. The first thing we need to do is form strong connections with families, get to know them, embracing cultural differences with an open-minded approach, and giving students the opportunity to express themselves. All these things are going to build a classroom culture that is welcoming of children of every background. Thank you.